So have you ever wondered how to record two USB microphones into just one computer? Could make for a really easy setup when you're in person. Well, on this episode, we're gonna look at exactly how to do that, how to record two USB mics, one computer, so you can have two people in one room. Simple setup. Let's take a look. Okay, can you record two USB mics into one computer? Yes, you can, it is possible. But should you? Potentially not, because it does complicate things quite a bit. There's a few different little bits of setup, maybe some extra gear you have to buy. There's all these things that complicate stuff and just get in the way of podcasting. But you know that one USB mic is really simple, so could two be simple? Could it make it easy enough? Well, I want to look at that today. Let's have a look at a few different ways that you can record with two USB mics, because there's a couple of setups which are a wee bit extra complication, but are definitely still possible if you're a bit techie, potentially. But there's also one simple setup which just requires a bit of extra gear, a bit of specific gear too. So if you're interested in that two USB mic setup, let's have a look at that now. So option number one is potentially the most expensive. You need some specific gear, but it's using a USB audio interface. And an example of this, one of the ones I like a lot, is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. So the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 is a little USB interface, plugs into your computer directly via USB. So that's simple. You can use that as one audio input, which is great. But then you plug two XLR mics into that. So you do need two good quality XLR microphones to plug directly into that. Now, if you do want to go that extra budget, the Focusrite's probably $100, £100-ish, that kind of region. You're maybe looking at another 100 for an XLR mic, maybe even more. So a couple of $100, maybe even $300, £200, that kind of region. You can plug that USB interface into your computer and just one XLR mic into that USB interface. It's a pretty simple setup for solo recording or online calls, but then it gives you that flexibility to pop another mic, another XLR, into that interface, you know, right into those audio inputs on the Scarlett, and that lets you just record two mics directly into your computer. So it is a pretty simple setup. The Scarlett's great quality, wonderful little preamps. It sounds amazing in there. But obviously, kind of higher budget. You do need three bits of kit. You've got the Scarlett, the Focusrite, you've got the two XLR mics, but could work for you. It's a nice little setup and great quality as well. So if you want to look at any of that gear, we've got a few guides to this. We've got a review of the 2i2, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. We've got a review of that on our site. Link is in the description. And we've got a guide to audio interfaces, USB audio interfaces on our site as well, over at thepodcasthost.com. You can find a link to that one in the description too. Option two is to use a digital audio recorder. So loads of great digital audio recorders out there. I really like the Zoom range. So we've got the Zoom H5 right here, but you get quite a few different ones. You've got the Zoom H5 or the Zoom H6. Now the great thing about these is that, well, the Zoom H5 can take two microphones. So you can record two XLR mics directly into the Zoom, and then you can plug it into the computer via USB. So basically the Zoom acts as a USB interface, a USB audio interface, just like that Focusrite that I mentioned in option one. So it can work exactly the same and can take those two mics as well. The Zoom H6 can actually take four. So it can take four mics, and it can actually take more than that if you have any of the add-ons. So you get these little plugins that go on the top of the Zoom series like this. And you can actually add in loads of XLR mics. The Zoom H6 can actually take, I think it's up to 12 or something like that. It can take tons of USB mics. XLR mics, that's the important part. So this setup is still pricey. So you have to pay a couple of $100 for the Zoom. The H6 is about $250, I believe. This one's maybe under $200 these days, but then you need two XLR mics as well. And if you're going extra, more people, 3, 4, 5, you need an XLR mic for every one of them. But really good quality, plugs right into your computer if you want to record that way, or you can record right onto the recorder. And you've obviously got the extra flexibility that these work great in the studio, but even better, you can take them out and about. So you could take this to an event, you could take it to anywhere. You could take it out in the field and record 2 people with a handheld mic rather than an XLR out there in the field. You can record anywhere. Really cool thing with these as well is that you can record separate tracks for every person. So you've got person 1 on one track, person 2 on another track. So if you're really geeky about your audio processing, you want to process every speaker separately, get their noise down, get them leveled really well, all separately. You've got those separate tracks using any of the Zoom recorders and many other digital recorders too. If you want to have a look at digital recorders we recommend, whether it's the H5, the H6, or any of the others like Tascam, that like, we've got a link to our guide to digital audio recorders in the description below. So go and click that link, you'll see all of the recorders we recommend. Yeah, so the Zoom ones are great. So yeah, that's another option. Plug some XLR mics into a digital recorder, plug right into your computer, and that gets you multiple mics into one computer. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I did say I was going to show you how to record with 2 USB mics into one computer, not with any of this extra faff like audio interfaces, digital recorders. So let's look at that as well. There's 4 ways that I like for doing this. And say I like is maybe a bit strong because there's a couple of ways here are pretty techy, pretty faffy to try and get it set up. So they're not ideal, but there's a couple that are pretty easy as well. So let's have a look at them. The one thing to say up front is that a couple of these options, they do work generally more easily if you have 2 separate USB mics of different makes. If you try and record with 2 of the same USB mic, so you plug 2 Samsung Q2Us or 2 Blue Yetis or 2 Rode Podcasters into your computer, for some reason, because they're exactly the same mic, computers can get confused. I've seen that happen and it just won't detect the second one or it just won't work very well. So if you have 2 different USB mics, some of these options, the ones I'll go into later, do work a little bit better. So if you do need extra mics, always check out our best mics article on the website over at thepodcasthost.com, description in the show notes below, but you can't go wrong with the Samsung Q2U if you haven't got one of them already. So great little USB mic. But let's have a look at the options. How can you record actually 2 USB mics into one computer? Okay, first option is using a Rode setup, the Rode Connect app with the Rode NT USB Mini. So these are a little mic that came out, when was it, last year? During 2021, so a relatively new one, NT USB Mini that Rode brought out. And a great little mic actually, good quality, only $99, so nice little thing. Funny snappable little stand as well. So it's a USB mic, can plug into your computer on its own, just works as standard like any other USB mic. But the key is that the Rode Connect app that you can download, absolutely free, can go onto your computer and it can record up to 4 of these, I believe, at once. So you can plug one in, you can plug 2 in, it works with 2, no worries at all. And then you can plug another couple in as well. Now, obviously, big downside to this is that you have to buy new mics. I know that a lot of people that want to record, maybe yourself, you want to record with 2 USB mics because you already have 2 USB mics. Or it's you've got one, your friend's got one, so you've got existing microphones. That's what you wanted to use to record. So this might not work for you. But if you want this kind of setup and you have the budget, you're actually just getting started, it can be a good little setup because, as I said, great quality mic. The app makes it so easy as well. It can record different audio tracks, so you can record everyone on their own audio track if you wanted to record them all separately. And even with the app, you can bring in a Skype call or a Zoom call or something like that as well to bring in external people. So you could have 2 people in the studio, yourself, me, and somebody else here recording with one of these each, and then bring in an external call, like a Zoom call, to record with that as well. So if you think that would suit you, by all means check them out. You'll see a link in the description below to go and have a look at these and a review of the Rode NT USB Minis. to go and have a look at them. And you'll hear the quality of them there. We'll have some sound samples on that article, so go and check them out. So how can we actually record with your existing USB microphones, 2 of them into one computer? So the first option is using a tool called VoiceMeeter. VoiceMeeter, it's a double E, so voice, M-E-E-T-E-R. Description with a link below, so you can go and find it that way, but VoiceMeeter. Now you use this alongside any other recording tool. So let's say Audacity if you're recording on your desktop, or Alitu, or Podcast Maker app if you're recording straight into the browser. You can use either of them and just select VoiceMeeter as an input. So how does it work? What you do is you plug both of your USB mics into the computer. Now, standard recording software like Audacity or Alitu, they can only take one input. You can only choose one microphone to record from. So VoiceMeeter, what it does is it can detect all of the microphones selected or plugged into your computer. So USB mic 1, USB mic 2, VoiceMeeter goes, right, I can see all these USB mics, you can select them all that you want to record, and VoiceMeeter wraps them up into one audio output. So you can set an output on VoiceMeeter to be VoiceMeeter output 1, whatever it might be, and then Audacity or Alitu can then use that as its mic input. And VoiceMeeter basically wraps up all of the audio from the mics you've selected and sends it off as an output to those other apps. So Audacity or Alitu can then record them. Okay, so that's all it is. It's really just a tool for wrapping up a few different audio outputs into one output for your recording software. Simple as. So this isn't that techy, but you know, there's a few extra tools. You've got to download that, the extra app, and then set it up so that it's an output. And the downside, I suppose, is that you end up with just one track. So if you're recording into Audacity and you've got 2 people, you've got both voices on one track. So you can't level them out, you can't noise reduction them separately. You maybe don't want to do that anyway. If you set them up well, there's no need for that. And the noise reduction's from the same room, so that should be fine as well. So actually for most people, absolutely no downside there, really at all. It makes it simple. In fact, you've got that one track that you can then go and process, chuck it into Alitu, for example, put it through our audio processing so it does the cleanup, the noise reduction, the leveling, all automatically. It's designed actually to deal with 2 voices on one track, so it should be absolutely fine. So, VoiceMeeter plus Audacity, VoiceMeeter plus Alitu, both of them, that'll let you record with 2 USB mics that you already have, no need for new gear, plugged into one computer, free bit of software, and that'll work for you just fine. Now, if you are particularly picky about recording on separate tracks, you want every speaker on a separate track so you can work with them all separately, there is one other option. So you'll need a more sophisticated editing package for this. So Audacity can't really handle it at the moment, certainly at the time of the recording, but Adobe Audition works well with this. So Adobe Audition is obviously a pro level editing package, costs $30, $40 per month to download and use, subscribe to. So it's a bit of an expense there, but if you already use it, then you can use another driver called ASIO for all, ASIO, A-S-I-O, for all. 4, the number 4, all. I like to make it complicated, don't they? Description will show you anyway. So go down to the description, you'll see a link in there which will show you the ASIO for all link, and it'll take you to that tool. And we've also done a review of Adobe Audition as well. If you are thinking about upgrading your leveling, your production, you want something really pro for editing, recording, all that kind of stuff, go and look at our Adobe Audition review down there by all means. So at that point, you have your ASIO for all driver, you've got Audition, and together they can set it up so that you can bring in those separate audio tracks into Audition as separate tracks, okay? You can record each USB mic separately right into Audition and capture those tracks on their own. Again, look in the description for some links to a little guide on this. We have it on our website over at thepodcasthost.com. Walk you through how to set this up and how it works, and it'll take you to the software as well. And again, got a review of Audition there if you really think you want to upgrade to it. But of course, if you want to keep things simple, keep things really easy, just go with something like Alitu, which is our podcast maker app. Helps you record and edit and all the cleanup and all that kind of stuff. Use, like I said, VoiceMeeter or the Rode Connect app. I mean, to be honest, I love that as a setup. The Rode Connect app, obviously it's extra gear. The Rode Connect app though just goes straight into a recorder, whether it's something free like Audacity, whether it's something paid like Alitu, and then let the software handle the cleanup, the leveling, all that stuff, and just make it really simple so you can concentrate on the content. Now, I mentioned 4 options. The other one is actually a little bit of a trick. Not a trick, that's not right. It's like a hack, I guess. Seems obvious when you think about it, but actually most people don't think about it, which is simply to use 2 separate computers. So you've got 2 of you facing each other in your studio. I'm on this side, my colleague's on that side. I'm sitting here with my computer, USB plugged in there. He's sitting there with his computer, she's sitting there with her computer, USB plugged in there. And then you record separately. And then you end up with 2 separate tracks, which you can bring together in editing. So that's it, really. It works with just about anything. And you can record with anything as well, because essentially you're recording a solo track by yourself and then just joining it together afterwards. Little trick on that, if you do want to go that direction, and this works for other stuff as well, if you're recording on a camera and recording audio separately, to sync it up. If you want to sync that audio track, synchronize, I should say, use the full word, then use some signals like finger snaps. So do it 3 times. Or click. Or clap. And those signals will appear in both of the tracks. So if one of you claps in between the mics, those claps will appear in both tracks, and it really easily lets you line them up so that you can make sure they're synchronized in the right place. So that's just one trick. If you're going to do that, recording separately, joining it together later, that's how you can synchronize the 2 tracks, probably in the easiest way possible. So there we have it. That is all the ways that I like for recording 2 USB mics into one computer. There are other ways, I'm sure, many ways to hack it, but those are the ways that are, I think, the simplest. So just to round it up, I mean, I think if you've already got 2 USB mics that you want to use, you don't want to spend any more money, absolutely use the VoiceMeeter approach. That's just a little bit of free software that can link together your 2 USB mics that you have, record straight into something like Audacity, Audition, Alitu, whichever one you want to go with. Easy, simple, and free, actually, relatively. If you are buying stuff from the start and you want a really high quality setup, really flexible too, that USB interface with something like the Focus Scarlett 2i2, Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, a couple of XLR mics, if you know that you're into it, you've been podcasting a little while, you know it's worth the budget, it's a great quality setup, no extra software, plug it into any computer and it'll just work immediately. There's no worries about crashing the software or anything like that. It's the most reliable, robust, but obviously costs a bit of extra money. And it's XLR mics, which are maybe arguably a bit less flexible. The other option, obviously, is to go with the Rode Connect app. If you are starting from scratch, again, go with those Rode NT USB Mini mics. Good quality little mics, not too expensive, $99 each. Then you can get a couple of them and you can use those separately just as standard USB mics as well. It's a nice little setup, that Rode Connect, especially if you're bringing in callers, that kind of thing, you're recording on location. Nice little one as well. And if you are picky about that audio quality, you really do want to record separate tracks, you can go with that ASIO for all option as well. You can get that little driver, record into something like Audition or many other pro sort of DAWs as well. That'll get you there. You can do those tracks all separately and clean them up to your heart's content. So I hope that was useful. I hope that took you through all the different ways to use 2 USB mics into one computer. As always, you can check out all of the links in the description below. There'll be links to all of the mics we mentioned, the audio interfaces, the software as well. It'll all be there. Just go and have a look at that guide. And if you've liked this video, please do hit that little bell icon, you know, the thing that YouTube changed. Make it so that they alert you, they tell you when we put new videos out so you can get more of these podcasting tips and goodness. So I hope you have enjoyed it enough to do that. That'd be great if you can. So I've been Colin Gray from thepodcasthost.com and Alitu.com, which is our podcast maker app for recording, editing, cleanup, publishing, all that stuff. Please do check out all of the things we do, and I'll see you next time. Where was I?